With YouTube attacking alternative media, please consider supporting the channel via Patreon for just $1 per month. Link below. Harry Potter, a franchise that ended over a decade ago now, is still popular. It's a good series. I like the series quite a bit. But one of the biggest points of contention I've always had is the Dumbledore is gay thing. I never liked how it went about it. I never liked how J.K. Rowling made it a thing. Not that I'm against Dumbledore being gay, but it felt like some weird twisted fan service after the fact. Like when she was, a couple years ago, she was tweeting about how Harry and Hermione should have gotten together instead of Harry and Ginny. You know, she was like, that should have been the thing. And ultimately, I think she says that, or she said that at the time, I feel, because she wanted Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Watson to get together because they're a cuter couple, which basically means that she's treating the later years of the Harry Potter kids very similar to E.L. James and the characters from Twilight. Or Stephenie Meyer and her characters from Twilight, that she is 100% absolutely in love with Edward Cullen. Yeah, anyway. But the new movies, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, are going to be featuring a younger Albus Dumbledore played by Jude Law, and he's going to be main character. It's going to be around his journey to fight Grindelwald, and the subject matter of whether or not he's gay came up. And apparently, fans are not happy with the response from the director because he very much approached it like she did in the books. It was a non-issue, and they're mad that it's not going to be front and center in the movies. So it says here that in the wake of Fantastic Beasts director David Yates drawing steep backlash online with his comment about Professor Albus Dumbledore's sexuality, J.K. Rowling has shared her take on the matter. During an interview with Entertainment Weekly that was published on Wednesday, Yates said that Dumbledore won't explicitly be gay in the upcoming second installment of the Fantastic Beasts franchise, The Crimes of Grindelwald, just as Dumbledore in the first 6 books in Harry Potter wasn't also explicitly gay. Now, if you remember, there was a huge controversy roughly a year ago when it came out that, that was it not Gaston, but the other dude, Josh Gad's character from Beauty and the Beast was going to be explicitly gay, and he had a very beautiful gay scene in the movie, and it sent like the hardcore right, man, the evangelicals or whatever, they went nuts, they went crazy. I mean, it got so bad that the movie was banned in Russia because of the one gay scene. Oh no, they said he had an exclusively gay scene. You know what it was ultimately? There was another guy earlier in the movie that got shot with a dresser that turned him into a chick, and everyone else kind of freaked out, but he was like, oh, I like this. And then at the end of the movie, that guy and Josh Gad's character, whose names I can't remember right now, had a dance scene where they kind of connected and they looked at each other and there was a smile. That's fast. It wasn't an exclusively gay scene. All right. It wasn't like, hey, let's play hide the salami, right? Can you go balls deep in my armoire sort of thing. That never happened. But people still lost their mind over it anyway. It was a benign, innocuous scene. Something like that's happening here. People aren't too happy about that. Now, he says here, I think all the fans are aware of Dumbledore's sexuality. He had a very intense relationship with Grindelwald when they were young men. They fell in love with each other's ideas, ideology, and each other. So what you've got is you've got Albus Dumbledore. And so Jude Law and Johnny Depp, right, are straight up at some point, previously at some point, totally madly in love with each other's wands. That's essentially what they're saying here, and that is not going to be reflected in the movie. Based on the example I just gave you, it pretty much explains as to why it's not happening. Some fans took to Twitter to express their objections with the remark, prompting Rowling to weigh in. This person here, Connor Goldsmith, says, not explicitly, Yates replied when asked if the film makes clear that Dumbledore is gay, but I think all the fans were aware of that, saying, 2018 LMAO, get it together. I don't know, in 2007 is when she made the claim that Dumbledore was gay without ever previously mentioning it in the book. In fact, this tweet here from Lucy, I think, summarizes it pretty funnily. She says here, Dumbledore, J.K. Rowling, Dumbledore is gay, LOL. Fans, okay, but you didn't put that in the source material. J.K.R., I know, LOL. That pretty much is what it was. 10 years later, fans, okay, you've got a chance to put it in canon now. JKR, hee hee, I know. fans. So are you gonna JKR? No, yeah, it's true. But you got to understand it. You got to understand. It's not that Hollywood is against having gay characters or gay characters that are in children's films. But if they go into the idea, the concept of this particular relationship, of these two, okay, the way I view it, the way I viewed it from this kind of leading into this moment was it's kind of like Magneto versus Professor X. With Dumbledore is Professor X, and Grindelwald is Magneto, and they both wanted this world to be a thing, and ultimately, again, horseshoe theory, two sides, same coin sort of situation. And in the meantime, they played with each other's wands and did Wingardium Leviosa. They wanted to make it lift. Anyway, so it goes on to say that being sent abuse about an interview that didn't involve me, this is from J.K. Rowling, about a screenplay I wrote, but which none of the angry people have read, which is part of a 5-movie series that's only one installment in, is obviously tons of fun. But it's even more fun? Tweeting a gif of rapper Lil Uzi Vert clicking the mute button on a remote, which basically just looks like this, just mute. And that's people are upset about this. They're upset over something that I guess, like, maybe as a straight white man, I don't really see there being an issue with. These are characters in the book. If the character is gay, then that's fine. If you know the character is gay, then that's something that is not going to impact the story. Right? But then you always hear the comeback to that, and the comeback is always representation matters. Okay, I get that. There was a lot of people that went off about the opening of The Last Jedi, where the bomber scene happened, and the one girl, does her badass cool chick moment before, and they called that a badass person of color moment, right? Is what Jen Yamato from, I think, Hollywood Reporter or something said. And I just had to laugh at that. I'm all like, so you're not equating her sacrifice to her being a human. You're really wanting to tie it into identity politics. And the same thing applies here. All right. We're not living in an age where there are no gay characters on screen. We're not living in an age where there are no gay characters in literature or television or whatever. One of my favorite on-screen relationships actually came from True Blood, I think season 3, between guy Jesus and the chef dude, the guy who passed away. Why do I forget names tonight? But they had one of the best relationships. Yes, they were gay, but the relationship was a very heartfelt, emotional relationship. The actors brought it to the screen, and it was handled in a way that didn't feel like it was pandering. At this point, given the audience's reaction to this, it feels like if the filmmakers did in fact kowtow to pressure, they would put it in. They would very much, they would, if they want to do that. But keep in mind, it's like this. These people are never happy. These are the same kind of people that were upset that Johnny Depp was cast in the movie. Never mind all of the accusations made against him from his ex-wife Amber Heard and everything else. So there was a big pushback about that. J.K. Rowling said they're happy with the casting. David Yates is like, Johnny Depp has been a dream to work with. He's a great guy, yada, 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 yada. Again, when it comes to dealing with the left like this, you're dealing with the regressive left, you're dealing with the snowflakes, you're dealing with these people. They don't want to ever hear that they're not being listened to. They really hate that. And that's a lot of what's happening here. So basically, from what I can interpret for that J.K. Rowling had said, is that yes, there are in fact going to, this is a 5-part series. In this particular story, we're not getting the gay part. Now the gay part could come later, right? The gay part could come later, or it could not come at all. I mean, ultimately they could tie it in. If there's still 4 more movies to go, ultimately, then there's a lot of time left for, to hear about the stories of Albus and Grindelwald playing hide the salami. You know what I mean? Or something along those lines. So I just find it funny that people are getting upset at quite literally nothing, or to be more realistic, they're getting upset at something that they obviously haven't read yet, but yet seem to know everything about. Oh, no, that pretty much summarizes most people on the internet. So yeah, okay. Look, myself included. I can't sit there and make a dig at that and not put myself in there. I think we all can be like that sometimes. But at the same time, the way J.K. Rowling handled this, the reveal of this information, if you, like, I know I'm going over on this story, but hear me out. 2007, Deathly Hallows came out. Everyone read it. It was like a month later. She's at a book signing in New York. She's like, she's reading from the book, taking questions and answers from the audience. Someone asked the question, hey, why is it that we never heard about Dumbledore's wife, or we never heard about Dumbledore having a girlfriend or being in a relationship? I'm paraphrasing. And then she just goes, oh, it's because Dumbledore's gay. Like that. Like, just boom. Like, just drops this hammer, this bombshell. Everyone lost their shit at that moment in time over it. And ultimately led to nothing, because as we pointed out in that tweet, there was nothing ever in the source material for it, in the canon of the books at least. And that's been one thing that fans have held on to. So you have to ask yourself, did J.K. Rowling make Dumbledore gay because he was always gay in her mind? Or did she make him gay because, well, in 2007, Proposition 8 was coming up, was a big thing being talked about. Representation wasn't really happening in the way that I think what we've seen today. Gay marriage wasn't legal. That didn't happen for a few more years. And it makes me wonder if she just made that comment, never thinking she was ever going to go back into the franchise. And now that she's there, she's like, crap, I got to pander to these people that I lied to all those years ago in order to score good political points with the left. Yeah. We'll write a Brokeback Mountain scene for the third one, I promise.